Namaskar. Very warm welcome to all our viewers and learners in this live phone-in session of CIET and CRT. I am Renu Bhatt with you all and you are watching us live on PM eVidya channels from channel number 6 to 12 and on our NCRT official YouTube channel as well. Dear learner, as you know, this is our special session of Sahyog where we try to provide psychosocial support to all our students and we talk about their mental well-being as well. Dear learner, let me share the title of the discussion. The topic is Impact of Environmental Conditions on Mental Health. That means you will get to know how environmental conditions are directly affecting our mental health and how it's important to us. For more details, we have our expert with us. Let's meet them. You are Dr. Basansi Kharluki. You are Associate Professor in Education from NEERI, NCRT, Shillong. Very warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
And we have our practicing counselor as well. Let's meet her too. You are Ms. Manalisa Medhi. You are Assistant Professor from Dr. RKB Law College, Dibrugarh, Assam. Very warm welcome, ma'am. And before we begin this session, let me give you some important information in case you want to ask some queries and questions. Feel free to connect to us through various mediums. You can call us on our telephone number, that is 8800 440 559. Either you can drop a mail at our email address, that is sahyog.ncert@ciet.nic.in. And in case you have joined us through our live streaming, that means you are on NCRT official YouTube channel. Go to the live chat box and drop your comment out there. Our expert will be happy to answer all your queries and doubts. So let's begin this session. And my first question is for Basansi ma'am. We would like to know more about mental health. Why it's so much important these days, ma'am?
Yes, a very good evening to all the viewers and of course my panelists, co-panelists, Manalisa Medhi, and to everyone who is watching this program. So yes, it is like we've said that mental health is very important in today's in today's time because the mental health has a direct actually impact on our ability to function effectively. It is the deciding factor in our life, how we function as individuals in all aspects, in all walks of life. That is why we need to ensure that we have a good, positive mental health, because mental health will determine how we we adapt to the changes in the changes that we are exposed to in our day-to-day life, how we deal with life situation or the life challenges. And of course, especially when we talk about students, it is about how we take and how we understand the new concepts, the new information that we received daily, and also how to build a strong and steady relationship. Actually, when we try to understand why mental health is important, it is the deciding factor actually. What kind of mental health we'll have, that will impact our daily day-to-day life. And students or adolescents who have, you can say, who have a good mental health, they often feel happier. They are more positive about themselves and about life. So they can, bounce back anytime and anywhere from any unhealthy situation that they come across. And why we need to have a good mental health? Because it is a way in where we can, cope up with the stress in life. As students, as adolescents, there are so many stressors, and we face with so many kind of situations. So with a good mental health, definitely that will help us how to cope with the surrounding, how we cope with our day-to-day life. That is very essential for us. And good mental health will definitely help us to grow. So that is why it is important to have good mental health. In short, you can say that good mental health is, why is it important? Because it helps us to cope with the stress in life or the stresses of life. It helps us to be physically healthy. It also helps us to maintain or to have good relationship in the family, outside, in the schools and everywhere. And of course, not only maintaining or having a good relationship, but also it will make meaningful contribution towards the society, and we can also work productively and contribute to the welfare and the good of the society. And overall, you can see that when we have good mental health, we will definitely be able to understand and realize our full potential. That is why it is important for to have good mental health or a positive mental health.
Right. As we all know, mental health is very much important, especially positive mental health. Ma'am, Manalisa ma'am, I would like to know more about how we can get that, how we can maintain mental health. There are various mediums or various skills and qualities. What are those? Please explain to us, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Already Basansi ma'am said about that. Good mental health is necessary to grow up. That is why there are various skills and qualities. If we develop these good skills and qualities, then a person or a child become mentally healthy. The first of all, the self-knowledge and self-acceptance. Self-knowledge is that who am I? If a child know that who am I, what are his own abilities, capabilities, his interests, his strengths, his weaknesses, then he know that he is aware about his own self. And after that, he accepts himself that what is his or her strength. And this self-knowledge and self-acceptance becomes a mentally healthy skills and qualities. If a person know himself, after knowing himself, if it is accepted by himself, then he becomes mentally healthy. And it is also one of the symptoms to become a sound mental health person. And secondly, the self-control. And self-control is to control himself, control the person himself, and it is gradually developed. If is in case of a school, if the teacher punishes a student, if the parents punishes the child, then he will control his thought, his behavior, his emotions. If he is not able to control his own thought behavior, then it becomes a serious problem in future time. That is why self-control is also one of the qualities to become a mentally healthy people. And the values and social responsibilities. In our society, in our family, there are various values and social responsibility. Basically, a child develops his values and social responsibility in his family. If he is not able to teach these values and social responsibility, then he learns from the school, which is surrounding to him. And that values and social responsibility also one of the skills to become a mentally healthy people. And the sense of humor and maturity. Maturity means the capable of understanding himself, and humor means the which is a sense that which takes the individual. He can change his life. He becomes energetic, humorous. That is why the sense of humor and maturity is also one of the important parts for mentally healthy people. And developing healthy habits and lifestyle. Healthy habit is very important. There are various types of healthy habits. We can say that the personal habits, socio-emotional habits, or the work-related habit. In case of a personal habit, we can say that the cleanliness, discipline, and in case of a socio-economic habits, we can say that cooperation, helping the others, emotional support to the others, to his peer, to the other family members, and the work-related habits to punctuality, discipline, or to do the own work in a proper time management. These are also one of the healthy habits, and that healthy habits leads a good lifestyle of an individual. And if that lifestyle is good, then the person automatically mentally healthy. And adaptability to the changing environment. If a person not only to develop his habit but also to adapt his habits to the changing circumstances or changing environment. Suppose a child has a habit to read loudly, and if he is in a hostel, then he is not practice this habit. because it is inconvenient to others. Then he can adapt the situation. Then he can also change his routine for this convenience. Next, the involvement with the work and entertainment. Various involvement, that means the busyness, and with the entertainment is also one of the skills or qualities to become mentally healthy. When a person become more busy with the work or the societal activities, then he takes satisfaction, he takes happiness, and this is also one of the reasons to become a mentally healthy qualities. And lastly, the spiritual orientation to life. If a person spiritually strong to the surrounding environment, to culturally or religiously, then this spiritual orientation to life is also one of the skills to become a mentally healthy people. Okay.
Right, very well said. Basansi ma'am, now let's come to the topic of the discussion, and we would like to know about why environmental condition is so important for mental health of students, adolescents, and what are the different environmental conditions that directly influence mental health, ma'am. Please explain.
All right, thank you. Now we come to, yes, like you said, the topic on the environmental conditions, and now we need to know why environmental condition is important in mental health of an individual. And of course, there are many factors which affect mental health. All right, and environmental conditions is one of those factors, and it has a great influence on mental health. It can either influence positively or negatively on a person's mental well-being. And yes, in order to understand the importance of environmental conditions and its effect on mental health, we should first of all see what are those environmental conditions, and then we will also try to understand how those environmental conditions can influence mental health. Of course, when we talk of environmental conditions also, there are numerous environmental conditions, but since because of the time, now we will be discussing and talking about the four important, environmental conditions. And these are the home environment, family, school, as well as the culture. And when we talk about home, home is where one lives in, and it has a great influence on mental health. If home lacks healthy environment, such as cleanliness, and then if it is in a very noisy and a disorganized home, if it is a congested home, all these have an impact on the mental health of an individual. These actually can cause poor concentration. It can cause poor listening skill and disorganization in daily routines. And if there is disorganization in personal belongings in the house, it gives rise to which have negative consequences for hard work, perseverance, organization, and efficiency in carrying out the daily activities. So these are some of the things which we need to keep in mind when we talk about environmental condition in the home. And not only the home, even the locality of the home, where the home is situated, that also has a potential influence on mental health, because locality, area determines the kind of activities we are exposed to. Friends, facilities, these may promote promote and develop or expose children or students to unhealthy personal or social influences. That is why it is very important to ensure that that the home environment is healthy, mentally healthy for the children or for the students, so that they can develop or become healthy and positive, so that they can have a very positive outlook in life. Now when we talk about family, family is the first social environment, and it is the first institution which is also a very important one. Family actually have an important role. It is very important for in improving or in ensuring good mental health in the children. Family, we know that it provides us with food, nutrition, security, love, care, right from birth and even during the prenatal stage. And the quality of parental disciplines available in the family also influences healthy emotional development in the student. So, because as we know that adolescents, or students, they come across or they meet many experiences. They come across many situations in their day-to-day activities, and how we handle situation, and then how family also handle undesirable behavior that student or adolescent pick up. That is also very important in ensuring whether students have a healthy or unhealthy mental health. So that how we handle situation as a family, that is very important. If we handle it through warm, healthy disciplining, this will of course improve in the student skill of responsibility in them. It will also ensure that they can make decision in their life, wise decision. And if we handle bad undesirable behavior through strict discipline, like there are too much of like do's and don'ts, this will definitely, or not only do's and don'ts, but through aggression and through violence, this will definitely produce fear in the adolescent or fear in the student, resentment against family members, against parents, or against elders. And then not only resentment, but there will also be conflict. Conflicts will arise. So, as a family, in order to improve or influence mental health, it is very important that we accept adolescents as they are and try to focus on their strength point, not always pointed out their weaknesses, what pointed out on what their undesirable behavior, but to bring out the strength, and not to be also sometimes not to be too overprotective, not to be overprotective. So this, because why, this will give rise to low esteem in the student or in the adolescent, low self-confidence, and then it will also develop, a feeling of inferiority in the adolescents or the student. And then when we talk about family, mental or marital relationship between parents is also very important. It has an influence on the mental health of students. And then when it comes to family, yes, the overall conditions, the overall environment in the family, it has an impact or an influence on mental health of the student. Now, when we come to schools, we all know that school is the second institution in the child, and school needs to complement the role of the family. Schools need to ensure safe and healthy environment or safe and healthy school environment, because why, school can also undo the harm caused by unhealthy and impoverished family environment. That we have to remember, because why, teachers in the school, they act as a second parent of the student or of the adolescent. So this we have to remember, because sometimes, yes, children may be born or brought up in a house where there is lacking in many facilities. So as a school, we need to ensure that we need to provide them with a safe environment where they feel safe, and they also feel that yes, they are happy to be in the school. So school also as one of the environmental condition, have an influence on mental health. We know
Right.
that
Ma'am, here let me tell you that we have only 4 more minutes left for the session,
all
ma'am.
right. Yes. So as we know that school is very essential and very important, we have to ensure that the mental environment in the school is important. Now, even the cultural influence on mental health is very, very much important, and the how we behave, how we socialize, how we interact. That also depends on the kind of culture that we come from, the belief. Okay, so all these have an influence or an impact on mental health of the student.
Right. So those were the four conditions that were directly affecting mental health of students. Manalisa ma'am, we would like to know more about the other environmental condition that influence mental health, ma'am.
Yes, already ma'am has tell all the relevant conditions which are surrounding the child. But out of this environmental condition, there are some other more environmental conditions which are surrounded by a child. That is the physical environment. Physical environment is associated with the health of a child. If a child is suffering any kind of disease, chronic disease, if a child has a health issue, sleep deprivation and health issues and the using of substance, this also create a very great problem in the development of the mental health of a child. And the societal environment, it is originated from our society. Any kind of sexism, racism, gender discrimination, influence from the neighbor. If the neighborhood circumstances is alcoholism, that also influence the child. The economic condition of the family or the economic condition of that particular society also influence that particular child to develop mentally healthy. And the psychological factors, if a child suffering any kind of trauma in his past life, if the child is emotionally, physically, sexually abused, that is also one of the causes that affect or influence the growth of mental health of a child.
Right. So, ma'am, would you like to add something?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So, ma'am, as we are running very short of time, still, Dr. Basansi, we would like to conclude this session with you, ma'am.
All right. So as we have come to the end of the session, I think what I would say is that it is very important that we looked into the environmental conditions, so that we can improve on it, we can work out on it, be it from the family perspective, be it from the schools, the societies. We all have to come together and work so that we can ensure that adolescents, students have a positive mental health, so that they'll be able to cope up with all the conditions in life. They'll be able to adjust and to adapt to every situation. This is very important, because if you see nowadays, it is very essential, because there are so many things that is going on around them, and how they cope with it, how they solve problem, how they take up decision or they make decision. That will really ensure how they can come up successfully in life. So that is very important. Yes.
Exactly, all these conditions are very much important, and parents must ensure that child is having all those developing conditions. As we are running very short of time, we have to wrap up this session here only. But before that, let me give thanks to all our experts. Thank you so very much, Dr. Basansi and Manalisa ma'am, for being with us. Thank you so very much, ma'am, for your informative session.
Thank you so much, Renu.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you so very much to all our viewers and learners for being with us. Thank you so very much. Let me wrap up this session. Me, Renu Bhatt, along with my whole team, is taking your leave. Namaskar.